Okay. So, welcome everyone. The purpose of this meeting is to provide some overview on the World Zionist Congress, the current election that is going on. The end of the election period is May 4th. So may the 4th be with you and with all of us as we are moving towards the World Zionist Congress, a new Congress, which will be meeting in November in Jerusalem. We have a very exciting campaign in the United States, and so I'll go over some of the real kind of background first. Let me share the screen, and we'll go from there. Okay. Okay. So okay. So. One of the things I want to start always, just to make sure everyone knows, I mean, you guys know, a lot of you already know it, but it's important to really recognize the important, incredible success Israel has had over the last several years when it comes to technology, when it comes to overall number of startups that have been sold for billions of dollars. Of course, that really helped Israel's economy and made Israel into the startup nation. Innovation, it still is big part of Israel's success. So that's one thing is really important to remember. And also the integration of the Arabs into Israeli society, which is something that I think, the so-called pro-Palestinian demonstrators need to understand, where that Israel is actually already is a coexistent country where you have both Arab Israelis and Israelis Jews working together, and you can see here the amazing accomplishment of integrating the Arabs into the Israeli society. 49% pharmacists in Israel, the percentage of Arabs in the pharmacy world in Israel is 49%. You can see total of physicians, 25% of the total physicians in Israel are Arab Israeli physicians, hospital directors, and so forth. There's a lot of integration into the healthcare system and other areas of society. This is just kind of some examples of such, and I'm putting it so that you can also use it as a tool when you talk to anyone who is telling you that Israel is an apartheid state. And I want to show them actually that the Arab Israelis are actually doing really well in Israel as compared to also Arab neighbors in other countries like Jordan and Egypt, for example, where the life expectancy is higher for Arab Israelis than the life expectancy of Arabs, of Egyptians or of Jordanians. So that's really important to kind of keep in mind. Part of the reason why the Arab Israelis really didn't do anything after October 7th, I believe, against Israel is because they understand Israel is a good place for them overall. And it's definitely better than many other places in the Arab world. So it's kind of something to keep in mind. Unfortunately, October 7th happened. I lost some friends. This is a couple of friends Ram and Lily, who I knew from childhood. Ram's brother and I grew up together in kibbutz. They lived in Kfar Aza and unfortunately lost their lives. And then also Drori and Marcel. Dror was my youth leader when I was in my youth as a teenager. I really have some really good memories of Drori. So I wanted to share with you. They lived in Be'eri, Kibbutz Be'eri. So what can we do from here, from the US? How can we get involved with the World Zionist Congress, and why? Why do we want really to get involved? So the World Zionist Congress has a lot of funds, massive amount of funds, and it's also supporting some of the largest agencies in the Jewish world, and especially in Israel. Keren HaKayemet LiYisrael, of JNF, Jewish Agency, Keren HaYesod, and others. And the election to the World Zionist Congress is divided by three different slices. to the pie. The U.S. It has 152 delegates, and currently the elections that ends on May 4th is only for the U.S. part of the delegation. So we are actually currently in the process of electing 152 delegates, and I'm one of them, one of the wannabe delegate, so to speak. The reason why it's such an important election right now is the World Zionist Organization and the World Zionist Congress have $1.5 billion a year that they allocate to those agencies and other places too. And so there's a great deal of money that really they have oversight over. Um, so there's a lot going on, and there's a lot at stake, and not right now we have basically kind of like sort of like a conflict between the ultra orthodox, the ultra right orthodoxy, and those who are more center right, center left, and that's where we are. We are center. We want really the money to go to mainstream Israel. We want the money to go to rebuild the north and the south, the destroyed north and also destroyed south, the communities that have been destroyed due to the massacre and also due to the war in against Hezbollah in the Galilee, in the Golan. And so that's where the money, with the $1.5 billion a year, we want most of this money to go towards that rebuilding, that rehabilitation of those communities. The more ultra-Orthodox slates are looking for more um, money to continue to be business as usual. Money, and unfortunately, money has been going to their own sectors, meaning, for example, if you're looking at one of those ultra-Orthodox slates like Shas and others, and I'll go over some of them, they want money to go to settlements in Judea and Samaria, and that's it, and also money to go to yeshivas. They care less about money to go. They care less about supporting the rebuilding of North and South, and you can see it in their slates. It's really not in their priority list. So this is kind of like give you some information on that. Some other, let me just go through this. It's basically has a huge impact on the future of Israel, the particular election. And you can see here how much money has been spent for all the different organizations that have been supported. A lot of money per year goes to those organizations. So that's really a key impact. And what else is going on right now? These are a lot of the money currently goes to unauthorized settlements, meaning settlements that have not been authorized even by the government of Israel. Currently, we have a right-wing government, but even this government, Netanyahu government, doesn't authorize all the settlements. Yet the World Zionist Organization still supports those unauthorized settlements in Judea and Samaria. And that's while Israel is bleeding, mainstream Israel is totally bleeding. Families are lost their homes. Kids don't have school to go to. You name it. I mean, there's so much stress. A lot of reservists are in duty, don't see their families. Yet those other Orthodox, and this is, by the way, the son of Arya Deri, he's also appointed 5 years ago to be one of the leaders of the World Zionist Organization. Those are the leaders that currently lead the organization, and they ensure that the money goes to support the yeshivot, those ultra-Orthodox young adults who don't go to serve in the army. While our people, our friends and family members are the ones who have to go to serve and risk their lives and the families' lives and so forth. So that's wrong. That's really wrong, and most Israelis agree with that. So we want to really change things around. We want to make sure that to stop that kind of corruption. Some of these people who are you see here are the people who we want to replace. We have an opportunity to replace them in the next Congress. They are being appointed based on their political affiliation to the government, to Netanyahu's government, or to some ultra-Orthodox individuals in the coalition, but not because of their background, their skill level, and they are the ones who make some decisions that we don't know where money goes. The decisions are made and there's no transparency. We want transparency, we want accountability, we want to appoint individuals with a background, with skill set that they can actually, they serve the Jewish world, the Israeli society, and not particular sector, not particular, it doesn't matter if it's ultra-Orthodox or liberal, it doesn't matter. We want the Congress to be supporting all sectors of Israeli society, period, and also the world. The world Jewry. So here again, this is kind of what we, Aid Coalition, want to accomplish, and I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. We want to rebuild and destroy the North and South. We want to support those who serve in their military and their families, like IDF veterans and so forth. We want to build community for the Israeli-American experience. And that means you guys live here, you're young adults, living in the LA area. We want to support any kind of programs such as some of them you guys have been on before, to have collaboration between Israelis and American Jews, and create some new opportunities for that, summer camps or camps and whatnot, trips to Israel like Birthright, to ensure that those trips will continue. We know it already exists, and there are some really wonderful programs, but we do want to make sure that we continue to sustain those good programs, the highly effective programs, and not necessarily those who are just geared towards particular kind of sector of the society. We want to make sure all Jews will have place in those type of programs, including LGBTQ+, including liberal, including those Jews who come from mixed marriage families, who may not see themselves necessarily as Jewish or may not feel accepted. We want to make sure they're accepted as well. It's really important. And then we also want to ensure that the Orthodox and the Arab populations are completely part of the Israeli society. They contribute to Israeli society. That means ultra-Orthodox should be serving in the Israeli army, in the IDF. And the Arab Israelis, while we don't necessarily want them to serve in the military, we do expect them to give back. And we want to ensure they do whatever it takes to promote to the Israeli society. Currently, we do see a great deal of that, but we do want to see more of that. It's going to be good for them and for everyone else in the society. Everyone has to do their part, and we want to make sure we hold everyone accountable towards it. And that's part of what the World Zionist Congress should be doing as part of the agenda, we believe. Stop here and see if any questions come up before I move on. If not, you can feel free to put in the chat. And Nadav, if you don't mind, if I don't see, let me know if there's any questions.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Is there a reason the other side doesn't want to rebuild the North and the South?
It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the reason. I haven't talked to them, but I was surprised when I did I did some research. I looked at all the slates right before last week before my last presentation. I went through all the slates, and no slates besides us prioritize the rebuilding as #1 priority. And besides us, there was only one other slate, the Conservative Party, the Conservative slate, that also included the rebuilding of the North and South, yet it was very much buried within a lot of other things. So it didn't seem like it was a high priority for them. For us, it's really clearly highest priority. And I don't know why other parties, other slates are not doing it. It's a good question. Thank you. Yeah, but that's just to show you why it's important to have us there, because we're really different. We're not affiliated with any of the synagogues. We're not affiliated with any of the parties. We don't have to follow their guidance, their marching orders. We have our own leadership, and this is part of our leadership. I'm showing it here. These are our top five delegates that are the leaders of our eighth coalition, and each one of them has had a huge amount of success both in the business world, in the military in Israel. All of them Israeli have had. They live here right now, but they've had also success here and in Israel. For example, Jonathan Barsadeh, he is the chair of our slate, and he's been in the high tech, in the technology business, and after retirement for that, he decided to become a philanthropist and to do a lot of work with like Israel Aid, for example, and other type of organizations. And now he formed, since 2023, he formed the Eighth Coalition, and he's been really great supporter, financial supporter of the Israeli IDF and other organizations in Israel, and so forth. And Dr. Jeremy Levin was the CEO of Teva, if you know Teva, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, based in Israel. Um, and he's in the biotech industry and also became a philanthropist. We have all kinds, including myself. I'm not showing it here, but we have a very diverse group, all walks of lives. Jonathan reached out to me and asked me to join the slate towards the end of 2024, and it definitely convinced me that's the right thing to do right now, and I'm glad I joined. So yeah, why us again? So they are talking about the Eight Coalition. We formed in 2023, but actually the work started before, about in 2022, 23, when the work of the kind of this organic what organically started as a formation of the Eight Coalition began to really fund different programs in Israel, different programs, and as a right after October 7th, there was really a massive mobilization of money and food and resources to either to the army, the military. For example, like we mobilized tons of goods to the soldiers right after the beginning of the war, to Gaza, because they didn't have enough clothing. They didn't have, the beginning, they didn't have all of that stuff really organized as much as we wished it was. So we did a lot of that also together with other organizations, of course. But this was all organic. It wasn't we were not part of like a federation. We did it on our own, hundreds of thousands of dollars that moved towards it, supporting different kinds of mental health and other things that related to the impact of the war on the individuals and families. So, any questions so far? And I'll continue and just to kind of give you an idea what the different parties are. So I kind of organized it by the different affiliations or denominations, so to speak, as much as I can. So this is kind of a list of all the Orthodox affiliated slates. So I mentioned Shas before. Shas is also affiliated with the Shas party in Israel. It's part of the Netanyahu coalition currently. They are in a coalition. Aryeh Deri is their leader. There is also some modern Orthodox slates. There's the Orthodox Israel Coalition, OIC Mizrahi, and there's also Dorshei Torah, Vetzion. And then you have Eish Ha'am or Eish Torah. So that's more kind of, you probably know about Eish Ha'am more, Eish Torah. And then the ones that I really wanted to other ones that I really want to focus on are the Israel 365 action. Now, this is really, if you know who Smotrich is and Ben Gvir, who are part of the coalition currently, the ministers, they're ultra right-wing politicians. Israel 365 is affiliated with their own groups, although it doesn't say here, but they are. It was stated some other places, not in the slate itself, that they are actually affiliated with it. So we know that they are going to be supporting. They were trying to move the World Zionist Congress to support settlements in the Judea and Samaria area, and also in Gaza. They are also in favor of developing new settlements in Gaza. Basically, that means money will go towards the new settlement in Gaza rather than going the money that will rebuild communities that need that money right now, that have been destroyed, or at least they have to divide money between settlements in Gaza and settlements in Kfar Aza and rebuilding Kfar Aza and Be'eri and the Golan Heights and the Galilee, which to us it's just it's ridiculous, and it's absurd, and it's going to devastate country on so many different levels. And then there is Eretz HaKodesh. Again, this is Haredi, Yadut Torah, this is Shas. Also, they are part of the coalition right now, the Netanyahu coalition in the Knesset. They are anti-Zionist groups. I don't know why they're even part of the Zionist organization. They shouldn't be, but they were able to get in somehow, and that's wrong. So we need to know those things, and what people are voting for. Really important. And then there you have the Artza, which is a reform, and Merkaz USA, which is a conservative. Both of them are more on the left side. Yeah, and some of the ones that are also important to mention, like the Likud has two slates, I'm sorry. Likud party has two slates, a ZOA coalition and Herut North America. Israel Beitenu, which is Avigdor Lieberman in the Knesset, has one of them. And then the Democratic Party, which is Yair Golan in the Knesset, has Hatikva. I just kind of went through this really quick. I think it's not so interesting, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of understanding what the main slates are. There is also the IAC, Israel Action Council, or Action Committee, or Israel American Council, sorry, Israel American Council. They do a great deal of really wonderful work in the US and for young adults and elderly. I have been part of the IAC for several years before, and I do support their efforts in the US. However, I don't support the slate in the Congress, partly because they're my competition, of course, and that's, of course, clear, but also because if you're looking at their slate and you see what they're really focusing on, they are not focusing on what we are focusing on. And I highlighted areas where we focus on, again, supporting long-term recovery and promote transparency and accountability. You don't see it anywhere on their slate. So again, do you want business as usual? They want to allocate, billions of dollars to funding Zionist programs. What does it mean? Where? We need to know, we need to be most clear about it, because if we're not, then we can't do a good job. And that's what we're doing. We're making it very clear what we're about, what we want to happen. We want to support vibrant Jewish communal life, both here and there in Israel. Invest in Israel's education system, which is really, really key. You don't see it really. I mean, you see it in there as well. But I can tell you, I come from education system. We have educators on our slate. I care about developing the infrastructure for education. That's also my background. And I can tell you that once, if we are elected, I will be actually on in the trenches, really in the front line, helping to really make it happen, building the infrastructure in places that Israel really needs the educational system to really rebuild, which is basically in the north and south, mostly, but also in Jerusalem, in the Gush Etzion, in the Judea and Samaria, and some other areas. We'll be there because it's important. Education is #1 priority. Yeah, when we are really, like I said here, we are in a watershed moment, and we need to be bold and innovative at this point in time. That's why we need innovators. That's why we need bold leadership, and that's who we are. We want to make sure we have strategic investment. We want to have accountability. We want to make sure that we have appointments to positions that are merit-based. We want formation of a broad, effective governing coalitions, which means basically we'll work with everyone. I have nothing against the Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, or anyone else. Liberals, I'm all about the cause, and the cause is to rebuild and shape and ensure that Israel will be success, and not just Israel, but the Jewish world. That's who we are, and that's what we're going to do. Um, just really quickly, it's really important to mention, we are today in the Yom Zikaron. It's the Memorial Day in Israel. It's the saddest day in the year. We have had, since October 7th, 1,200 civilians, so we lost, and 850 soldiers. It's just tragic, and so many families have been impacted by that. It's just such a tragedy, and we need to keep it in mind and keep it ahead of, in front of us, and as we're making decisions, where the money goes, what we're doing, and that's where we need to be in the Congress. We also have 59 hostages still there in Gaza. Some of them are still alive. They've been there for 572 days as of today. We need to bring them home. And something about the future that we can look at, and I wanted to end with the future is bright. This is some pictures from the place where I grew up, Kibbutz Ruchama. My kids know it very well. They spend a great deal of time in Kibbutz Ruchama. And the reason I'm showing it, it's right next to Kfar Aza and right next to Sderot. There's where the massacre happened. Fortunately, they didn't make it to the kibbutz, those terrorists. But the kibbutz now is hosting kibbutz Kfar Aza. All the residents, members of the Kfar Aza kibbutz came to live in Ruchama until their kibbutz is being rebuilt. So I'm showing you here some of the new the renovated buildings that the kibbutz Ruchama just finished and just recently, and so that it really is making a place for and for those members, and it shows the spirit of support. There is a biyachad, there is togetherness in Israel. You can see it right and left, and you see it ultra-Orthodox and Orthodox and secular, and that's what we need. We need a united together Israel, and that's what we are about. So that's kind of like overall. I do want to mention we are slate 14. When you go to vote, if you are choosing to vote for us, what you need to look for is not my name. I'm not showing because you're voting for a slate, not for individuals. So our slate is number 14, 14, AID Coalition, American Israeli Democracy Coalition. And that's it. I'll see now. I'll stop sharing, and I want to hear if there's any questions. Anything that comes up, I'm happy to answer. I know we're almost at time, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do you know if you have to be a California resident to vote or like registered in California?
No, any Jewish person, any Jew who lives or resides in the US is allowed to vote 18 and above, 18 and older. So you don't even have to be a a US citizen. You may be here as a visitor and you live here, you rent a place in LA or anywhere else in the US. You have the right to vote.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Yes, please let everyone know, because I know it's been a question comes to me. Do you have to be Israeli citizen to vote? No, you really don't. This is actually for world Jewry. This is for US based Jews. So we want to make sure more of the voters come in. Yeah.
Thank you, Abba.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so encourage you all to go out to vote. I will send Nadav, if you don't mind sharing with everyone the link to the voting site. What it takes is it will take about 2 minutes to register. It costs $5, and you have to pay unfortunately to the organization that runs the campaign, and then you get a pin. And then once you get a pin, you can go up, you go and you see all the slates. And again, we are number 14. Let your friends know, let as many folks know. Election voting and on May 4th, that's Sunday. So as many as you can get between now and then would be remarkable, remarkable. And love to have the more votes the more people are voting, it's basically supporting their own communities. And that's what we need. We need to really be here to support our communities and make our voice heard. Okay?
When did you say voting ended?
On Sunday, May 4th.
Oh, okay.
So this
Thank you.
Sunday.
So when does the pin come in? How long does that take?
It would take a few seconds. I think it's automatically it will come to you.
Oh, it's not like a
You-
physical pin.
No, you
No.
just register and they give you like a PIN number to your email.
Oh,
And you have
perfect.
to enter
Okay.
the PIN.
Yeah, yeah, it's really quick. The issue is sometimes you may encounter some issues with their glitches. If you have any issues, there is an email that you can send it to your question, and they'll send the pin to you. If you don't get the pin, sometimes it happens, and it happened to me and many other people. So yeah, it's not easy sometimes. It's kind of unfortunately not so good system. But if you have any question, if it doesn't work for you, let me know, and I will also help. If anyone has any problems, I'm happy to help.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'll stop recording now. Oh, and